Okay, so welcome everyone. Let's start to respect the people who was on time. My name is Elena Lopez. I'm coming on behalf of the InnoMatch Consortium. And as you know, today we have this webinar on international growth strategy. As you know, as companies within the InnoMatch program, InnoMatch is supporting you not only through pilots and proof of concepts, but also tackling the different aspects in order for you to commercialize your piloted solution. And today we have three experts on the internationalization part of the business. Before we start, I'd like to give some housekeeping rules. So as usual, in this kind of sessions, we are recording it, so it will be shared with the participants and also with the InnoMatch companies that couldn't attend. So you will receive it together with the presentations. As you will see, as a participant, you are muted, but you can always post your questions in the Q&A box of the Zoom bar of options. In addition, as we are kind of in family, let's say, in a chilled environment, you can always raise your hand if you have questions, and I will open your mic so that you can directly pose your questions to the speakers if you wish to do so. If not, the Q&A box, it's also an option. Then, as for the agenda that we have today, so first we will have Maria Jose Borreguero. She is the CEO at Arian International. She's a consultant with over 20 years experience in business, innovation, and internationalization. So she will give some tips on how to design an internationalization plan. In addition, they are an accredited EIC service provider, and we will see later what that means and how you can benefit from it being an EIC company. Then we have Claudia Saiz from SyCai Medical. She's an example of how a good internationalization plan can actually boost the business. So she will share her experience with you all. And finally, we have Antono Zagrelli. He is the coordinator of the EIC Access Plus project. And this project, as you will see, support companies like you that want to access specialized business services with dedicated financial support. So Antonio will explain what this means, how you can actually get it, until when, and how to apply. And finally, we will have some time for you to pose questions to the speakers. Please don't be shy. As I was saying, we are in the comfort zone. It's a chilled environment. So feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box, and the speakers will answer it. Leverage the opportunity that they are here in front of you. And then, without further ado, I would like to share the presentation of Arian International. So, Maria Jose, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks to be part of this workshop. Today, we will speak about international expansion. And maybe the first thing that I would like to say is you have a question in your mind. It's why do I really need an international plan? Okay, during this session, we will try to answer this question. No? But the first thing is, what is an international plan? An international plan really is a roadmap that defines the most effective way for a company to enter a growth in international markets. In the case of these tech companies, it's a very special case because they have unique characteristics that has to be considered in the strategic plan. both in the market entry decision, but also in the scaling strategies. This key difference, we will use this key difference with the objective of maximizing impact and optimize the results. Following, we will speak a little more about this difference, or these unique characteristics of these tech companies when we work in an international plan. The first of all, Elena, if you can, the next slide, please. Okay, the first thing is how we know the deep tech paradox. Well, what means deep tech paradox? It means that the deep tech company should face high R&D costs and long development cycles. And most of the time, the domestic market lack the volume in the maturity to sustain this investment. And you need to scale in globally to ensure this profitability. For a deep tech company, really, global expansion is not an option. It's a necessity for survival. Elena, please, next one. And but in international expansion, you will have to keep in mind another important concept that it's recommended before to go global, you have to think about going European, because Europe is the natural market. Some of you maybe think that, okay, yes, but Europe is not easy at all. There are a lot of differences between countries, and it is true. We have, technical, cultural, regulatory differences, but also the European Union offers us specific tools and programs to help bridge this gap. And there is these first steps. To create the first partnership in Europe is a very useful and worthy experience to go abroad. The key point is that consider Europe as an extension of our domestic market. Not only think in our country, we think European market. It will enhance your knowledge and strong your platform when you, for a long time, international growth. Next slide, please. Okay. Another question is why you need an international plan, and there are some critical success factors. The first of all, one of the most important, is the time to market. In deep tech sectors, they are fast-moving sectors, and if you misalign your markets for choosing a wrong region, it could be critical for your company in early stage. Choosing to have enough information in order to choose the right markets could leverage your technological window opportunity before the competitors came. Next slide, please. Okay, another important point is also the maturity of the market. Maybe your market, your domestic market, not only has not enough signs, maybe they have not the right maturity. And to identify in an international environment, to identify markets with optimum moments for adopting your technology, it's a strategic and strong point. You need to make smart choices, not only to act in a reactive way, because every company is going to a market, or maybe you have received the first request from a market. It is important to really focus on the core, the market, to make this a smart choice. Next slide, please. Okay, regarding this question, to choose the optimal market and to act as a reactive way, we have to consider, or you have to keep in mind, that the most, there are a lot of companies that they think about some markets, and they decide to start their strategy asking for information for only single country studies. No, these studies are comprehensive studies, and they include very valuable information. But really, it is not enough to shape an effective international strategy, because the real insight to make decision comes from a comparative intelligence across different markets. When we compare these countries side by side, you can identify these barriers, where these barriers are lower, where there are better commercial conditions, which market is truly viable. Okay? This comparative perspective aims to organize us to prioritize market with a balance between the opportunity and complexity. Next slide, please. But not only for this, for the first aspect that we speak about, that are mostly economic, also for intellectual property strategy is very important to identify this strategic market, because and this market be aligned with the company market priorities, because this is a key decision to define where to protect your IP assets. Patents are territorial, which means that you need to protect in every country, and to file in everywhere is really unrealistic, because the high cost and the registration and enforcement. In order to prioritize this market, can leverage your resource efficiently, reduce risk, ensure that your IP portfolio support really your international expansion. Next slide, please. Okay, another important asset that the most of the time we don't think about is that an international plan, well, it is an important tool for risk mitigation, because a key advantage is this risk diversification. And the risk diversification has two aspects. First one, the geographic diversification. Maybe now in the current situation, it's easy to understand it, because you need to reduce the exposure to local risk, not only economic downtowns, also regulatory changes and sector disruption. To focus only in one country will be very risky in the current situation. But not only geographic diversification, it offers you also the possibility to sector diversification, because every country can use the technology in a different application, and there are also in a different maturity. And it offers you the possibility to test different applications in different regions, and to commercialize it if you have the opportunity. Okay, both strategies make your business more resilient, but also boost your growth potential. Next slide, please. Okay, and the last point that we will cover in this introduction is how a strong international expansion plan can empower the management team, but also to attract investors. To have this comprehensive evaluation of target markets and the identification in a data-based way, the opportunities and risks, this clear definition of action lines reduce uncertainty and improve your credibility in front of investors, and also increase the chance of successful international growth. Next slide, please. Okay, now we will speak about the methodology, because to develop an effective international expansion plan, it's essential and structured methodology. As we speak before the final output of this international plan is to clear a framework that organizes critical information. But we not forget that an international plan is not really a final report. It's a closed document. It is really a continuous learning process. The plan will offer you, or the principal objective, it provides direction, but it has to remain flexible enough to adapt to new insights and changing conditions in our current situation. That is very, very important. Next slide, please. Okay. What are the methodology? What are the Arian's methodology? The methodology that what we use. It combines business intelligence processes, but also design thinking approaches. Business intelligence, I think, is easy to understand why. And we use it to identify, filter, and structure information, because without information, we cannot make right decision. Really. Information is fundamental. But with this information, we will leverage proprietary algorithms to generate the best strategies options for the company. Okay, and it is also the second step. It's very, very important. This proprietary algorithm, but it is not enough. We need also to use this design methodology, design thinking methodology in our sessions. You know, in the session that we design this international plan, because we need to encourage companies to overcome inertia. You have to change the direction that you are doing now. You have to include more information, to include other options, and to adapt the situation that you have now to this new situation, aiming to international marketing. And to change this direction requires efforts and openness. And to enhance this motivation and willingness to explore this methodology, these new opportunities, is essential also for design a valuable international plan. Next slide, please. What means this algorithm solution? It means that the way we will move in, the international environment really is inherent complex. We have many countries, each of them with unique politics, systems, economic realities, technological development, and the most important cultural differences that the most of the time are underestimated and have a deep influence in consumer. It's not only the person, also the business and the business practices. In the international environment, give us a huge amount of information and even more opportunities. But you have a risk. The risk is, as you know, paralysis by analysis. What it means? It means that to get too much information, make decisions more difficult. It is tough to figure out which option is the best and to predict what happened. For that, it is the most important thing is to focus. Focus is the key, but focusing the key with data-driven information, with available information to take this decision. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, for what we use this Arian's proprietary algorithm? Okay, the main objective is to help to the company to manage this chaos of information in order to define the best strategy decision at a global level. It means a lot of information, and you have to elaborate really. The application of this algorithm allows to identify the more reliable and strategic information and to make decisions at a global level. The three areas, the most important areas to define is the market prioritization, to identify tech uses or the same business lines, what are the best or the most suitable, okay, on the basis of your objective and the situation of your company, industry and targets that fit with your objective. The second is, we speak about it, the country prioritization, to use clear criteria and reliable data to figure out which market best match your goals. It's important, a short and a middle time. Okay, it is not the same the best countries now, that maybe in the next step of your company. It is important also to consider. And the third is the risk scoring. Risk is an inherent part of international expansion. You have to keep this in mind. It is important. But the idea is to reduce the uncertainty and manage the risk in a controlled way. Next slide, please. Okay, our methodology includes 3 steps. The first is the diagnostic assessment. Is in order to understand where your company stands right now and gaining a clear picture of the current situation. In this stage, we will assess if you fit, what is your situation or readiness to go abroad, but also to identify high potential business lines and global markets. The idea is to assess your readiness to perform an SWOT or any other. It depends of the company and the situation. We will use different tools to define your global market fit. What is your position in this global market, but also to prioritize the business lines. This is the first stage. Next slide, please. With this internal and external information, we will define we will perform a strategic analysis, defining the strategic assets such as value proposition, identifying growth opportunities, customer needs, and market gaps, as well as potential barriers. On the basis of this information, we will define strategic objectives and to define also key lines of action. They might get a criteria that will guide our decision. Is very easy. It's maximizing opportunity and minimizing risks. Next slide, please. Okay, one of the most valuable output in this case is the international market prioritization. We said we use our algorithm include information about these three levels, and we design what will be the criteria, the relevant data that you have to use. Next slide, please. And another crucial component that we include in this international plan is the communication strategy. We will not develop this communication strategy in a global way, but we will help you to align your strategic of international objective with this communication plan. Sometimes it is underestimated the importance of this communication plan, but it represents one of the most important investment and also one of the most important assets that you have in an international level. Next slide, please. Okay, finally, this is the action plan and the budget that we will design in your international plan. Next slide. Yes. Okay. This is a summary of what is the last objective is to ensure that every decision is informed and aligned with your strategic objective. And it has to be also realistic. Realistic is not so easy, but we will have or look for all the information that to assure that it is the more realistic. And the main output will be control risk, maximize opportunity, and build a sustainable international presence. It is important also the internal alignment with the chosen direction. A strategy only works with its fully embrace for all the executive team, because it's not a single decision, it's an ongoing strategic journey. Next slide, please. For that, we offer this service in the EIC Service Catalogue. The name is Global Data-Driven Expansion. It includes all the information that we explained before. You can find the link for the services here in the slide, and it includes these 3 steps: the diagnosis, the intelligent business intelligence, and also the definition of the strategy. Next slide, please. Here are some introduction about our company, Arian International. We are, next slide, please. We are a consultancy company placed in the Science Park of Barcelona. It is one of the most dynamic health cluster in Europe, really, the Science Park of Barcelona. We have an experience of more than 20 years, and we have advised more than 300 companies through their innovation, strategic planning, and global expansion. We are specialized in deep tech companies and mostly in health companies. Almost 40% of our customers came from this area, from health. And also, but we work also with other deep tech areas as biotech, energy, and photonics. We are proud that our strong focus on women-led companies will represent more than 44% of the total clients. Next slide, please. Okay, this is our position in the EIC ecosystem. We are service provider in the EIC Service Catalogue, but also a mentor in the programs of the T2 market, in the venture building, and also in the women leadership.
Now we are going to move on with the next speaker, that is the EIC Access Plus project, but for sure we will come back to you for questions around this nice presentation. I also leverage the opportunity to remind the attendees that they can post their questions in the Q&A box, and we will come back to that by the end of the session. Thank you very much, and Antonio, the floor is yours if you would like to share your screen.
First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Antono Zagrelli. I'm the project manager of the EIC Access Plus project. That is a project funded by the European Innovation Council, like InnoMatch. And then basically, what we do is to support EIC awardees in accessing to the EIC Service Catalogue services. So the project is starting in August 2024, and let's say the termination date is we are negotiating now with the European Commission to have an extension of the project, since we are receiving a lot of requests, and so the project will the natural date of the deadline is next July, even though we can accept application up to May, but so we are negotiating an extension, so probably we will extend the date, and so we have more time for the applicants more time to apply to our project. So what we do is basically to provide a financial support to those beneficiaries that would like to ask to access to the services into the catalog. So you know that there is a catalog. The services are some services cost us more or less a lot. So what we do is to provide financial support to reduce the accessing cost to those services. So we have now received a fund from the European Commission. It's about 3.45 million. So 70% of this fund has been already committed, and so we are committing also the others. The beneficiary we support are awarded EIC awarded project participants and also Seal of Excellence holders received by the EIC project commission. So our target is to support 180 firms so far more or less we supported have the numbers later on, but 167. Who are our beneficiary we are supporting? So we have the participant in Pathfind Transition Accelerator project. So the organization who participated or have been participating in this project can apply to Access Plus, but also we are supporting the Seal of Excellence holders, but with the limitation that only Horizon Europe program Seal of Excellence could participate, not for the others. And there are two minor categories that we support. There are spin-offs generated in one of the before mentioned project, but also we are supporting the partners coming from EIC pilot project 2018 and 2020. So these are the groups of beneficiaries we can support, and just to provide you some practical example. So the partners in this project, like universities, or the majority are SMEs, but also other public and private organizations. We can support them, and they have been applying to our funds. So the key figures for us. So we have a target to support up to 180 organizations. They could be firms, they could be business firms, organization, research center, and something like that. So now we are at 167 applications. What we do is to provide a grant. It's a financial support. It's a lump sum that we pay to these beneficiaries with a threshold of 60,000 euro per beneficiaries, and they use this grant for accessing the service into the catalog. So if they have to pay some cost into the catalog, so we can reduce up to the 50% of the cost they have to support to access to those services. And the services we are supporting are all the services listed in the catalog. So for internal purposes, we group these services in 4 service packages. That the differences from among these service packages are relating to the amounts that they can receive for each services. For instance, if we consider research package services like access to infrastructure or prototyping services, we can pay up to 60,000 euro. For business acceleration services, we can pay up to 30,000 euro, and as well as for the access to funds. And for skill improvement services, we can pay up to 10,000 euros. Back to the topic of today's topic. So if for internationalization services, that could be specific development or market strategies for going to abroad, or like also matchmaking, but also business plans mostly are related to internationalization of the business. We can pay up to 30,000 euros for in terms of lump sums. So for instance, if you have a cost of 60,000 euros, then half of this cost is paid is covered by Access Plus. The other half should be covered by the applicant itself. How to apply to Access Plus? So we have the first way, and let's say most is here, is to directly from the service catalog. So you can, if you go to the service catalog, you can see a red button there, and clicking the red button, you are redirected to our website, and then you can start the procedures to apply. So when you go if you go in our web page, there is a funding page fully dedicated to the applications. So there is a button apply here. You click, you enter, you register yourself, and then you can access to the template for the application. So as I told before, the official deadline is still for the application is still May 2026. Even though we are negotiating with the Commission, we are in a good pace with the Commission. So we hope to extend the deadline up to December 2026. So there is more time for the newcomers to apply to Access Plus. When we receive the application, they are grouped in a course, and then each course is evaluated in the next week. So we receive in 1 week the application, we group them, and the next week we make the evaluation. There is an internal committee formed by the Access Plus project, members that we evaluate this application. The evaluation criteria are fair and open and transparent. So we check if the beneficiaries are EIC awardees, Seal of Excellence, spin-off generated. So just if they are the right to apply. So we check, of course, they cover the geographical coverage. We accept application from EU country and associated country. So we also check if they already received incentives for those costs they are declined to Access Plus. We check if they have already reached the ground limit. And we also ask to provide in the application, as you can see, if you go in the application template, we ask them to describe the service they are applying to. And then we also check if the service delivery will be, of course, within now, the official date is June 2026, but if we have an extension, this date will move to October 26. And then we check if the service provider be selected among those present in the service catalog. Regarding the payment, the reporting and payments, so we have a double approach. Regarding the approach is different according to the lump sum we are paying to the beneficiaries. For lump sum up to 10,000 euro, we made the payment at the end of the service delivery. So we ask to the service provider to deliver the services, and then the applicant can send us the invoice, and we'll reimburse the invoice up to the 50%. For those services whose cost is a little bit higher than 10,000 euro, so we can pay into installments. The first one, when we sign the grant agreement, the agreement with the beneficiaries, we pay 50% as pre-financing, and the other 50% after the service conclusion. Before making the final payment, we ask to the applicant to participate in our quality impact services that are obliged to collect information and to send this information to the European Commission. Just to give you some numbers to the present situation of Access Plus, so far we are approved a partially funded 167 application. As you can see, that 90% of the applications for internationalization services, but also if you consider matchmaking, more or less they are linked to the internationalization activities, you can see that a lot of services been funded for internationalize the first abroad. Means that the typical country this service will cover are the United States, Canada, and maybe India, and these are the three main countries that have been targeted by the firms that are asking us services for internationalization. The other kind of services are for business planning, but most of the time are related to internationalization or maybe IPR. Sometimes IPR also is a service linked to the internationalization, since they have to protect the ideas, the innovation. And so there is the internationalization is a very key concern about the Access Plus support. And just to inform you who is going to apply to Access Plus, so we can see in this. You can see in the slide that the majority of the applicants comes from partners from organizations participating in accelerator project. Then also we cover also Seal of Excellence projects, transition pathfinder, and then we receive one application from the former SME instrument and two applications from two spin-offs generated within two accelerator projects. So in these slides, I show you how the service go from one country, from European country to another. So usually the applicants, when they ask services, they use both internal service provider, but the majority of the applicants are using service provider located in different European countries. This is very important for us, since as you can see, Access Plus also stimulate the networking within organization, not only in their own country, but also across all the European countries participating in the service catalog. This is my last presentation. So if you would like to apply to Access Plus, of course, me, Antono Zagrelli, I'm the lead project manager. There is also my colleague Magloire that's supporting me in this project. We have also a team that dedicated to the evaluation, to the checks and others. So you can go directly to our website and you can apply it. And there you can find a lot of information. There is an app desk services, other app desk information for how to apply. So that we provide you full support from the beginning up to the end of the service conclusion. And I think this is my last slides.
Thank you very much, Antonio, for that nice overview. So we have a question in the chat about what is actually the EIC Service Catalog. So I have it here. I can share the screen. And perhaps, Antonio, you want to, I don't know, give some insights into what the EIC is trying to accomplish with this, how the service providers get approved in the official catalog?
Yes, I should provide information, but I would like to present that we are not in charge for the service catalog. So we can just say that there you can find a lot of services. They have risen, they have growth in the last 2 years. So there are many. They are divided in 11 categories, and according to your needs, you can select one or more categories, for instance. And then for Access Plus projects, since you can select one, but also other categories, the most important for us, you cannot go beyond 60,000 euro when you ask the lump sum for your services.
Thanks so much, Antonio. So if I may add to this, so at the end of the day, what the EIC is trying to do is, in addition to the grant that they have provided you as part of your accelerator or your transition pathfinder project, is also to give you additional support when it comes to growing the business and commercializing your innovation. So the EIC creates this catalog with service providers that can help you with, for instance, the internationalization plan, as the colleagues from Arian International, or doing the due diligence, for instance, if you are trying to raise funds, these kind of aspects. And in order for you to be accessible, they are providing discounted prices thanks to the EIC Access Plus catalog that Antonio just presented. So I think it's worthy that you have a look at the catalog. We've shared the link in the chat. And if there's something that it's really on your roadmap to do, see if you can actually benefit from the providers that are in the catalog and from the financial support that EIC Access Plus provide. So on that regard, I wanted to ask you a follow-up question, Antonio. So in InnoMatch, most of our companies are accelerator. So based on your experience so far in EIC Access Plus, what kind of services are the most recommended by, or the most demanded by the accelerator projects? What kind of services do you think would be most appropriate for them?
The majority of services, when the application come from an accelerator, there are, let's say, internationalization for sure, and business planning, or looking for additional financial support for some services to apply to venture capitalists, for instance. And then these are the three major categories that an accelerator project applies. Yes, I would say that for sure, business planning, improving the business planning, market deployment, access to international markets, and access to more second, third tier level of venture capital.
Thanks so much for that. So if you are, and I address this to the InnoMatch company, so if you are in those situations, please have a look, because for sure you can benefit out of this. Then I'd like to come back to Maria Jose and Claudia from their presentations in the beginning. So starting with Maria Jose, so you mentioned that the companies, when going international, they should start with the European Union as their domestic market, let's say. However, we see that many member states have different realities. So when you work with the companies to prioritize the market and the countries, what should be considered? What are like pieces of advice that you would provide them when deciding to go for one country or the other?
Okay, thanks for your question, Elena. The methodology is the same for European countries abroad. Okay, the criteria is defined on the basis of the situation of the company, the technology, and the and the objective that we or the company define. It is important in order to the strategy was worth it, really, is to be realistic. And the criteria are different for each company because the reality of this company is different also. But when we define what are our priority and what are the best to look for, the methodology is the same for European and countries outside Europe. Okay, the criteria is the same. And the difference is not the same, but really the point that is easier is the customs. It is real. We have not customs here, but the main of difference that we can find abroad, we can find also here in Europe.
Okay. Thanks so much, Maria Jose. Then perhaps a follow-up question for Claudia, because actually when deciding which country, sorry, to prioritize either within the European Union or outside, as Maria Jose was saying, something that is very important is the regulatory aspects, especially in heavily regulated sectors such as health, where you are operating. I saw that your company has the CE mark already, class 2B. That's already an achievement. So did you tackle the regulatory aspect, the CE mark, before going international, or was it something that you did in parallel?
No, it was something that we started from the beginning. As you say, regulatory is very important in healthcare. So this is something that we started from the beginning with the CE mark because we are based here in Spain. So we started with the European market. And now that we have it and that we see that we have traction and in Europe and we are going to different countries in Europe, we are also starting the regulatory processes for abroad. So for example, for the US and other countries. But it's something that takes a lot of time in healthcare, the regulatory process. So it's something that we need to start from the beginning.
Thanks so much for that, Claudia. And I guess that opened a lot of doors, right? When going to other countries to be already certified.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. And then a follow-up question. So I guess your company targets the public sector as well, like public hospitals. How did you address the different realities of each country? Not only like the CE mark, but also the consideration, like how healthcare is organized in the different countries or the different procurement realities. Obviously, in Europe, we have like some commonalities, some shared things from the directive, but then each country kind of decides some other aspects within their own territory. So how did you manage to cope with all that? And I guess you're still managing to do so.
Yes, yeah, we are still doing it. So yeah, that's something we also looked with Maria Jose a little bit. Just when you have like a country and you prioritize a country, then you need to look in each country if the number of hospitals that are public, the number of hospitals that are private, and how the country is operating, that if it makes more sense to go into the public hospitals because that's how they work there, or if it makes more sense to go to the private ones. So that's what we are doing. We focus on the country, we see what it makes more sense. Yeah, and then also for sure, like the public system is slower. So that this is something that we also take into account. But yes, it's just like understanding like how each country operates, I would say.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks so much, Claudia, and actually, thank you, all of the speakers. I see.
Uh,
Yes,
Can,
please,
can I
Maria Jose.
say something,
Of course,
Lena?
of course.
Yes. No, it's only regarding the CE market. It's truly that you have the registration as SyCai. It is easy. Okay, it is easy to start to sell abroad, but you can do also. Principally in Europe, but you can also design an internationalization plan without to have it. It is important also. Okay, the reality abroad is very, very different, and you have options. It's the only thing, because some companies think until I have not the certification, I cannot do nothing abroad, and it is not true. It's true that the intensity will be different, because to have the certification is a big difference, but you can do also things abroad.
No, thanks so much for clarifying that, Maria Jose, because indeed it's a good remark in the sense that getting the regulatory approval will take several years. So you shouldn't wait until getting it to start moving, because at the end of the day, you need to find customer, you need to fund your daily activities and start commercializing. So thanks for pointing that out, Maria Jose. Then, if there are no other questions in the chat, and unless the speakers want to do any other remark, I think we can leave it here. You will receive the presentations and the recording, and obviously feel free to share with other interested colleagues. And well, thank you very much, everybody, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.